Hello.
Could you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Is it working?
Yes, okay.
Should I be over there?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Right here? So my name is Brian. I've been working in the crypto space for a long time, pretty much 10 years at this point. And at the moment I'm doing like 4 different things. So one is there's a company, Chorus One, that I started, and we are one of the main staking companies. So we run staking infrastructure on I think close to 50 different networks, and have something over 1 billion of assets staked with us. And then I'm also, so I was part of the original Cosmos team. I was COO of Tenement back in 2017. And so still very involved in the Cosmos ecosystem, both through Chorus One, where we run a lot of different blockchains. And I'm also the president of the Interchain Foundation. So the Interchain Foundation is basically a foundation that, original Cosmos Foundation that funds most of the Cosmos core development. And then I'm also I started a podcast called Epicenter.
Wow.
A long time ago. It's the longest running crypto podcast now, so we just did our episode 500 like a month ago or 2 months ago or something. And and then I guess finally I'm very interested in this project called Urbit, and I'm also part of the Urbit Foundation, and we have a team at Chorus One that's developing Red Horizon. So we launched a new product called Red Horizon, which does infrastructure for Urbit and hosts Urbit servers.
Oh wow, you do a lot. Okay, thank you so much. Our second question is like an ice-breaking question. So what was the first coin that you bought? When was it, and why did you buy it? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember, yeah. The first coin I bought was Bitcoin, and it was in maybe like May 2013 or something like that, so it's just a little bit over 10 years ago. And it was, so this was in Berlin, and then there was this, at the time, there wasn't a lot of exchanges, and but there was this guy who organized this meetup, and he wanted to have people who would like physically trade, so it was like, oh, people come there, and then people could like, his idea was, people would say like, oh, I'm buying or selling for this amount, and you can go around, so sort of like some kind of medieval marketplace. That was the idea. And so that's where I bought my first Bitcoins. I actually bought it from this guy who was the Local Bitcoins founder. I don't know, maybe some people remember that, but Local Bitcoins was this like website where you could find people physically that were close to you who like wanted to buy and sell Bitcoins. So that's how I bought my first Bitcoins. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Okay. Could you introduce Chorus One? About Chorus One, what is it about?
Yeah. So basically, Chorus One came out of. So I was working at Tenement in 2017, and back then we were working on proof of stake. We were launching Cosmos, and you'd have this white paper and the software, and then you'd be like, oh, there will be the network, and then there needs to be these validators who actually run the software, who vote in governance, who have this role, right, to kind of maintain it. And at the time, like nobody was working on this. Didn't exist this industry, so we're kind of wondering like who's going to do that, and at the same time, Tenement as an organization was a bit of a chaos, so it was hard to like work there effectively. So then I decided with my co-founder Meher, who I was also hosting the podcast with, we decided to start Chorus One, and at the beginning we just focused on Cosmos. And later now do all kinds of networks, and basically we focus on running staking infrastructure. That's really the focus for Chorus One, and there's a lot of different parts to that. So we have a lot of retail clients, but we also work with custodians and different institutions.
Thank you. Chorus One is one of the Cosmos OGs. So, and it having a significant impact on the Interchain ecosystem. So how is the ecosystem different than now? Do you feel that the ecosystem has grown over the years?
Yeah, of course, the Cosmos ecosystem has grown a lot. I think one thing that's maybe a bit unique about the Cosmos ecosystem too is because of the design of the chain, where you have different chains that are like sovereign and responsible for their own security, own validator set. So I think actually, today, what is the Cosmos ecosystem? In a way, you could say there's a lot of different communities that are kind of, connected but also separate. So I think that's an interesting thing. But yeah, I think it's obviously thriving, right? I think, right now we have something like 50 different chains that are, live with some meaningful, maybe coin that's trading and traction. And then, we're still seeing a lot of new chains that are coming to Cosmos, both, new startup chains or even some really big projects switching to Cosmos, like DYDX, for example, that we're also working with very closely.
Thank you so much. We actually did an interview with Paul from DYDX yesterday.
Cool.
How has Corswan's role been changing over time? I mean, what's the current focus of the team? Could you share?
So, I mean, from the sort of proof of stake network perspective, I think our role hasn't changed like that much, right? Because, you're on the software, you vote on governance, you do upgrades, all that kind of stuff. I think what has changed is that we focus a lot more on institutions at this point. So to work with venture funds, but also work with custodians, that's a big focus. There's other kinds of like institutions that are holding a lot of crypto for different people. And, we've made a lot of progress on that front. So that's definitely something that, wasn't really a focus in the beginning and has become more of a focus. And then there are some other areas, like for example, we're doing a lot of work around MEV and doing a lot of research there. For example, we're also working with DYDX on MEV and like how MEV should look like for the DYDX chain. And then maybe another thing that now is like over the last years has become a kind of focus for us is that we do venture investing as well. So we have kind of Chorus One Ventures, and we've invested in probably around 40 different projects. Quite a lot of them also in the Cosmos ecosystem. Probably I would say about half of the investments have been Cosmos related.
Thank you. You're one of the leaders who run ICF. So what could be your role in ICF? Could you share?
Yeah, so the ICF was established in 2017, so 2017, and basically when the Cosmos fundraiser happened, right, all of that money went into the ICF, and also 10% of the atoms went into the ICF. And then the ICF is a Swiss foundation, and that means that it basically has a sort of, it doesn't have owners, right? But it has a sort of a description of what its mission is and how it has to spend the money. And that mission is basically to, further decentralized technologies, but, especially in the Cosmos ecosystem. So the ICF, funds, basically, primarily it funds, the Cosmos SDK development, it funds Tendermint, or now it's called BFT, right, the consensus engine, it funds IBC, and it also funds Cosmos Hub. And this is, and it funds a lot of different organizations, right, because there's a lot of different organizations that are kind of working on that. I would say that the kind of biggest ones are, well, there's an internal team at the ICF that's working on IBC, so that's one. Then there's Informal, the company that was started and is run by Ethan Buckman, one of the Cosmos co-founders. There is Strangelove, which is run by Jack Samplin, which is working on IBC. And then there is a company called Binary Builders, which is run by Marco and Onur. They're focused on Cosmos SDK. And I think that was it, yeah. So I think those are the kind of the four main companies, and then there are other companies too, like for example Confio working on CosmWasm that are getting funding. So there's a lot of different organizations. I think at some point it was like 50 different organizations getting funding at the same time. Now it's been a bit less now. And so I'm part of the Foundation Council. Foundation Council is basically sort of the supervisory board of the foundation. So it's me, Ethan Buckman, and Fernando Pedone. He's a computer science professor in Switzerland. And so I'm part of that Foundation Council, and we're in the end responsible for the thing. That means being involved in these funding decisions, organizational things. We are at the moment expanding the Foundation Council too. So we're evaluating people to add to it. So we want to increase the Foundation Council. If anybody's interested, feel free to apply. I think you can find some information about it on the Interchain Foundation blog. We are also trying to hire another person, which we are looking for people. So someone who is, we're looking for an ecosystem lead at the moment. So somebody who is like really deep in the Cosmos ecosystem and understands it technically and can kind of help coordinate with these different teams on the roadmap, technical decisions. So that's another thing we're looking for. And on the Foundation Council, at the moment I'm like the president. I've switched with Ethan to become like the president for the moment, which there's not that much significance I think to that. It's just the Foundation Council kind of collectively it has that supervisory function.
So the crypto markets in Asian region is really like expanding, and there's growing attention toward the Interchain ecosystem as well. So how do you feel about Asian markets, Asian crypto market in general?
I mean, of course, Asia has long played a big role in the crypto markets, especially having some of the biggest exchanges in Asia, like Binance and Huobi and a bunch of others, and a lot of trading in Asia, and projects as well, right? I've actually, the place one of the few places I've really been to in Asia sort of to see was South Korea, right? I was there at BIDL in 2019 and really loved it. We did a company retreat there as well. And I was originally going to go back in June and then unfortunately had some issue and couldn't go. But I'm definitely looking forward to going to Korea again. And then, we have, I don't know that much about it, right? We do have, for example, one BD person that's like based in Asia. I was focusing on that. We have maybe a few more team members there. I think one thing that I've heard a lot is not just also there's a lot of differences, right, between the different Asian markets, right, where India, Korea, Japan, China all like have their own idiosyncrasies and differences. But I think it's obviously promising Asia, especially because the US is still a hostile environment from a regulatory perspective, and I think in Asia, countries are more embracing of the change that crypto brings.
Thank you. Could you share ICF's long-term goal and plans for supporting Interchain ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, the ICF's long-term goal, I would say, is that you can look at it in different ways, right? Sort of on a very high level, the ICF is dedicated to creating a vibrant interchain ecosystem where you can have a lot of different blockchains that are like sovereign, they're vibrant. I think one of the core ideas here is also this idea of like localism, so that there can be many different chains for different communities in different maybe geographic regions or interest communities, and they kind of give them this power that they can be responsible for their own their own destiny, their own future. So I think that's kind of on a high level, the vision. Maybe more concretely, I would say that the goal is definitely to get these core technologies that everything is based on, like Comet BFT, SDK, and IBC, especially to get those to really a point of technical maturity, that they are just kind of you know, these reliable protocols and standards that everyone can rely on. And then maybe with the Cosmos Hub, of course, the goal is to support kind of the journey the Cosmos Hub is on, you know, to become, you know, really useful and powerful chain in this interchain world and provide a lot of value, and provide sort of useful services to the interchain ecosystem.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we covered all the questions we got. Thank you so much for interview.
Thanks so much, Chloe.